All right, let's jump right in. We're about to crack open one of the most fascinating texts ever, and we're going to frame it as the world's very first and maybe most intense PhD defense. Buckle up for the 6 questions that basically decode reality itself.
So picture this, a university where there's no tuition. Instead, you pay with your ego. That's the setup for the Prashna Upanishad. Now, Prashna literally means question. And this text is all about 6 brilliant students who show up to challenge a legendary sage with the 6 toughest questions you could ever ask about the universe. It is, no joke, the original cosmic PhD defense.
So, who were these students, these doctoral candidates? Well, they were the 6 sharpest minds around, each an expert in their own field. And they all came to challenge the ultimate professor, the great sage Pippalada, to see if his theory of everything could actually stand up to scrutiny.
But here's the twist. The sage stops them right at the door. He says, "Hold on. I want you to stay here for 1 full year. Practice discipline, get your mind right, then you can ask your questions." And the point is absolutely crucial. You have to prepare the cup before you can pour in the water. See, information is cheap, but wisdom is earned.
Okay, so a year passes. The first student steps up to the plate, and he does not waste any time with small talk. He goes straight for the biggest question there is. Where does it all come from?
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Where does all of this come from? It is the ultimate "why are we here" question. And with that, this epic cosmic defense is officially underway.
And the sage's answer? It's just beautiful in its simplicity. He says the entire universe is basically a recipe with just 2 ingredients. You've got rye, which is matter, the physical stuff, the fuel, and then you've got prana, which is energy, the animating force, the spark. Everything you see, from a star to a single cell in your body, is just some combination of that stuff and that spark.
Okay, so that's the universe, matter, and energy. Got it. But the next student zooms the camera right in. They ask, what about us? What's going on inside the human body?
Another absolute killer question, right? Who's the CEO of you? In this incredibly complex machine that we call a body, what's actually in charge? The sage answers with a story. He says all the parts of the body get into this huge argument. The eyes are like, it's obviously us. Without sight, you're totally lost. The ears fire back, no way, sound is everything. And then the mind, very arrogantly just says, guys, I'm the one who thinks and makes sense of all this. It's me.
And then, to settle the argument for good, prana, that same life force energy we just talked about, just gets up and starts to leave the body. And the second it does, the eyes go dark, the ears go silent, the mind can't think, the entire system just begins to shut down.
Now, this is where we get one of the greatest analogies of all time. The sage says, prana is the queen bee. When the queen rises up, the whole hive rises with her. When she settles, they all settle. Your senses, your mind, your body, they're just the worker bees. They're important, sure, but prana is the queen. It's the one non-negotiable power that runs the whole show.
So, from the body, the questions naturally turn even further inward. They start exploring the mysteries of consciousness itself, especially what happens when we, check out for 8 hours every single night.
The sage explains deep sleep with this beautiful image. He says all of your senses, which have been flying around all day, finally return to rest in the mind. It's like birds returning to their home tree at sunset. And that tree, that core, silent resting place, that's your true self, the Atman. It's the quiet witness behind all the daily chaos.
So what is this self that we go back to every night? Well, the sage's answer is kind of mind-blowing. He says it's not one solid thing. We're actually a composite being, made of 16 different parts. Things like faith, the elements, our senses, our mind, even our name. All these layers are woven together to create the person you call me, which totally challenges the idea that we're just one single unchanging thing. And all of this leads to the final and probably most famous metaphor in the entire text. If we're made of all these different parts, what's the point? What's the end goal? Where is all of this going?
I want you to think about the great rivers of the world for a second. They all have their own names, right? Their own unique identities, their own special paths. They are, for all intents and purposes, individuals, just like us.
Each river carves its own way through the world, defined by its name and its banks. But here's the thing. Every single one of them, no matter where they start, is flowing in the exact same direction, toward the exact same final destination.
And this is the knockout punch. The moment that river merges into the ocean, you can't point to it anymore. You can't say, oh, that bit over there is the Nile. It loses its name. It loses its form. It just becomes ocean. And that, right there, is the definition of liberation.
So what do we take away from this whole ancient defense? Let's recap. First, prepare yourself. You can't handle the truth until your mind is ready for it. Second, energy is the queen bee. Matter is just the hive. Life is the force that drives, not just the stuff being driven. And finally, all of our separate, individual lives are just rivers flowing toward one single, unified ocean.
And the final thought from this whole deep dive is this profound shift in how you see yourself. It suggests that all our questioning is sacred, but maybe the final answer is always the same. It asks you to seriously consider that maybe, just maybe, you aren't the individual river with its temporary name, but that you are the vast, limitless ocean it's about to become.